Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have ourselves another 1v1 in Semoskiy. Our heroes today are going to be Obscura, playing for the Germans, and his opponent is going to be stevebud, playing for the Soviets of the Red Army. So, I guess this might be my bad, but we're going to talk about a little bit about our players like we normally do. And I say my bad because, well, I haven't personally seen a lot of these players, and I don't know if that's my mistake because I haven't, paid attention, or they don't usually post a lot of games, but these two are actually two pretty good players. stevebud, the one that we're looking at right now, is actually ranked 9th in his Soviet play. So this is a top 10 player right here, but for some reason I don't think I've ever casted any of these games, so maybe he just doesn't post. I don't know. I mean, like I said, might be my bad, but, well, at least we got ourselves a treat here, and we're going to be seeing a top 10 Soviet player in the works right now. His German play, just as a note, is ranked 38, so still top 100 right there, top 50, top 40 even. So, yeah, I mean, pretty good player all around. Obscura is no scrub himself. His German play is currently ranked 47th, so top 50 player right there. And his Soviet play is 59, so still top 100. So, I mean, either way, these are two rather good players, and, well, we're going to see them duke it out this time around in Semoskiy. So, hopefully I'll spot them more often this time around, noticing now that they are rather good players. But, yeah, I guess my apologies go out to both players. But, yeah, like I said, maybe they don't post that much, and that's why I haven't actually seen them. But anyways, nothing really happening so far. We have capping around the map, so let's see about the build orders. Obscura went for the usual, getting tier 1 as you would expect. He's getting 2 grenadiers, but he's actually getting a sniper as the third unit, so that is a little bit more unusual than, what we're used to, but it's nice. Me like see a sniper. I'm going to put a hotkey on that guy and keep track of him throughout the game. Hopefully he does amazing things. Now, for stevebud, he went for a tier 2 opening, which, again, is not that common to see, but, again, it's still pretty good anyways. He went for maxi machine guns, so he has 1 maxi machine gun already on the field, going to the center. He did build a conscript squad as well, just to have an additional, capping unit, pretty much, going over to the right-hand side to capture those victory points and such, while the combat engineers are just capturing on the north. So yeah, no engagement so far. We are looking at a potential... No, these guys are actually backing off and going towards the center. Potential engagement right here. The maxi machine gun moves up to this house and sets up. Grenadiers are moving into its range. Breaks open the window and is going to start opening up on that squad as it crosses the open. Grenadiers manage to get themselves in the church, so we're going to have a small firefight here between houses, which will not be as prolonged as it was before because of the reduction in effectiveness of the house. As you can see there, the grenadiers are actually taking quite a beating there. The machine gun itself is taking that damage as well. It's not really its fight completely, but considering the firepower of the machine gun itself, it should probably win against that. Sniper, however, comes into the mix, opens up into the house, and down goes one of the men on the maxi machine gun. The small arms fire of the grenadiers also nailed one other guy and forces that maxi machine gun to evacuate. Second maxi machine gun sits up in the center, or, well, a little bit behind that wall, and is opening up still on the church. Down goes one of the grenadiers. The sniper is moving up, gonna take a shot at the combat engineers. No, aims at the maxi machine gun as well. Takes down one more guy, down to 3 men on that maxi machine gun, while the other one is out of range. The combat engineers move over to the left-hand side a little bit for a flank. Might be able to cut off and flank that sniper, but it doesn't look like that will be the case. The maxi machine gun over here pulls back and is in range of the sniper. The sniper moves in to start shooting at the second maxi machine gun, bringing it down to 4 men. The grenadiers in the church are taking quite a beating, down to 1 man. They need to evacuate or they are going to die. Down to 1 man, exit through the back door, and they retreat quite immediately. Sniper takes some shots in retaliation, but manages to dodge them, gets in cloak, and crosses the road. Conscripts are in hot pursuit, 2 squads in fact. Sniper sets up in the middle of the road, takes a shot at the sniper, at the conscripts but is now fell upon by a conscript squad. They jump into the house and try to capture the sniper out in the open, but the sniper just cloaks itself and takes a shot at the house. Ooh, that's a little bit of a mistake there by Obscura, but the conscripts do end up retreating out of the house, and the sniper is fine. He was a little bit open there. They could have very easily shot him. There are several windows there aiming in that direction, but, well, it went out in Obscura's favor, so that's fine. So mortars hitting the field. Let's take a look at what has been happening. So we see an MG42 coming into the field after the sniper, and a mortar as well. They're setting up right outside the exit for Obscura. So he's going to be holding the exit of his base, not to get pinned. So the mortar helping out very well against those Maxim machine guns. Very nice choice there by Obscura. And the sniper just moving around, wreaking havoc. Already up to 8 kills. Conscript pushing forward, trying to nail that sniper. Manages to dodge some shots. Hasn't actually gotten hit. You can see the health on him being pretty much at full. Conscript now down to 2 men, continue to pursue, forced to retreat. Sniper takes a shot but misses as they run away. Will set up to take one more shot as they retreat. Oh, that! Oh my, that is, wow. These guys should be shot. So, mortar hasn't actually done anything, but killed one friendly guy, and that happened to be its own sniper. That is a very unfortunate loss there for Obscura. Ow. Yow. I'm a little bit speechless there. Yeah, that just sucks. I mean, yeah, that is just bad luck. And look, the sniper even jumps in frustration once it dies. Oh, anyways, Grenadiers pushing out of the base for Obscura. They're gonna run straight into some conscripts. Also, I didn't mention it right off the bat. stevebud got himself his Doctrine, and that is the Soviet shock army. So obviously he has, you know, a little bit of a plan in mind. We do have tier 2, tier 2 down for Obscura, and he's getting himself a half-track from that. Will help out with his Grenadiers and, well, MG42 as well. Everything pretty much will be able to benefit from that half-track, so it's always a nice choice. We see a push here from the conscripts with the PPSA just right on top of the mortar, doing some damage, but they are forced away by the MG42. Grenadiers jumping into the church, taking some beatings from those Maxim machine guns, but the Maxim machine guns should be forced to retreat once the mortar is set up again. Mortar sets up right there in the middle of the road. Maxim machine gun already retreating, so it's going to be fine, but it will get chased off the field. For stevebud, we now see tier 3 already down, so this leads me to believe he's going to be getting himself a T70. He does not have enough fuel for it just yet, but it is 55 fuel, so I would assume that's the reason he's getting it this early. So that's going to be a probably 8-minute T70, probably a little bit more by the time it builds, but yeah, pretty fast. Not much on the field right now for Obscura to deal with it. He is getting himself a Panzer Grenadier squad after that, so I suppose those could get Shreks, but even then with the Shreks it's kind of hard. He is also getting the flamethrower upgrade on the half-track, which means his munition income is going to be restricted. So that's actually going to be quite tough for him to deal with. Half-track, however, will provide a big boost in damage right now. Flamethrower is going to pop now, and there it goes. Goes off against the conscripts. Conscripts burned alive, down to 2 men, down to 1 man. Can he finish off that squad? It is retreating, heavy cover out in the open, but manages to crowd the corner, and he is fine. Mortar shots landing again in the most crappy places, I guess you could say it like that. Hitting its own guys pretty much. Mortar shots landing, forcing the Maxim machine gun to evacuate, and the... Well, he actually has enough fuel, but he hasn't gotten it. So maybe he is waiting... Sorry, brain needed oxygen. Maybe he is waiting for the T-34. I don't know. Well, we'll see what happens there. But tier 3 already down, not being utilized right now for stevebud, so a little bit unusual there, but yeah. I don't know. I like the idea of what Imbers used to say is that, you know, if you're gonna build a tier, it's because you're gonna use it, because otherwise these resources spent to build it could have been utilized elsewhere, because all this time right now that building is not being put to any use. It's just, you know, essentially wasted resources. But sometimes you have a plan in your hand and you just want to go through the build order even if you're not going to be able to get it, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, okay, so yeah, he decides to wait for the T-34 and is going to get himself a T-34. So yeah, that's fine. I mean, doesn't really change much. It's okay. Yeah, I mean, you could say the tier went down a little bit too early, but I mean, I don't think it would have changed the timing on that T-34 because the fuel really was the restriction there. And I doubt that he was going to be building himself anything. So, half-track pushing into the center, going to get 18-aided again by those conscripts. The conscripts taking the flames to the face and actually staying alive. Very, very risky there for them. Left-hand side, small engagement. Panzer Grenadiers running onto the conscripts. The conscripts are having to pull back. There is a Maxim machine gun, however, nearby for support, and that is where they're running. Down to 3 men, however, as they run, so they're going to take quite a beating. Down to 2 men. The Panzer Grenadiers manage to run themselves out of the arc of fire of that Maxim machine gun and jump into the house. center of the map. The half-track just pushes back after taking some small arms fire. And we have the Maxim machine gun right here on the center, or outside of the base of stevebud, that is, cleared out by the mortar, it looks like. So very nice. Either a mortar or a rifle nade, one or the other. But mortar did kill 3 guys, so might have been the mortar. T-34 now in the field for stevebud. It's going straight over to the left-hand side, to the north. Going to run into that half-track. That half-track notices that there is a T-34 coming for it, and he is going to hit reverse immediately. Panzer Grenadiers trying to draw a little bit of fire from that T-34, and they do because, well, T-34 has nothing to fear from the Grenadiers. The Grenadiers do end up having to retreat, and they should be able to make it out alive. T-34 might be able to kill 1, maybe 2 at most, but I'm sure they're going to be fine. As good as it is, remember, accuracy has been reduced on the move for tanks. They can get more scattered. Oh, a very nice shot there on those piles, taking 2 of them down instantly. They do capture the point, and they're probably going to retreat right now. Although it looks like there's just backtracking. Pack gun on the field right now takes a nice shot at the T-34. Doesn't actually do incredible amounts of damage, but a second shot to the rear armor brings it down to half health, and the T-34 GTFOs. So, very nice. Shock troops now in the field for stevebud. He is going to be able to combat those Panzer Grenadiers with the shock troops. Even though whoa, that is a demo charge. That is very nice. It looks, and that's probably stevebud's. Yeah, that is definitely stevebud's. Wow, very nice move here by stevebud. He goes over to the southern side and captures the fuel point, lays down a demolition charge because he knows that this fuel point is critical for anybody. So eventually, obviously, Obscura will send something over here to cap, and that is just going to blow in their face. We actually see the Panzer Grenadiers moving in that side. We do have an engagement in the center. Shock troops, conscripts, T-34 pushing into the center. MG-42 moving around, but I do want to keep an eye down south to that Panzer Grenadier squad. Let's actually keep it selected. The shock troops are forced to retreat. The conscripts push forward. They're going to get right on top of that half-track, and they go for the 18-8. They do manage to get the 18-8. The Panzer Grenadiers are down south right on top of the demolition. No! Very lucky there that the engagement was going on to the center. Obscura manages to bring his Panzer Grenadiers to the other side, and he is actually going to dodge that demolition charge. Half-track took a little bit of a beating. Grenadiers pushing into the center. The T-34 was forced to retreat. Although it didn't actually take any damage, the pack gun was still set up in the angle over here to cut off any potential flank in case there was another tank. But we see right now that stevebud is barely getting himself his other T-34. And he's getting an AT gun from his Tier 2 as well, just to be able to combat any German vehicles that come out. So the fuel point got decapped, and the Panzer Grenadiers moved along their way. Oh no, the Grenadiers are right on top of the demolition charge. Is it going to blow? Is it going to blow? stevebud, if you ever wanted to blow that demolition charge, this is probably the time. Something tells me he's not going to blow it. He doesn't actually have vision of the area, and I don't think demolition charges give you vision. We can actually confirm that right now. Let's do a quick switch over here. He cannot see. He can only see that. Yeah, so he doesn't actually know. Okay, well, that's probably not going to be blowing up right now, so the Grenadiers capture that and move along their way. Okay, well, would have been just a very good guess if he had blown it up there. So, he's going to recapture the south, Obscura is, and he is simply reinforcing the center, getting himself his Tier 3 right now, and fuel-wise, we'll probably see a Panzer IV. We do have two T-34s on the field, however. One of them is at about 95% effectiveness. Combat engineers trying to repair it, but it's being a little bit stubborn and goes off, before it was called into action. Grenadiers up in the north get engaged by a lot of infantry, conscripts, shock troops, and more conscripts. The T-34s push into the center by themselves, with the infantry coming over through the northern side for a flank. So a very nice move here by stevebud. A two-pronged attack. Combat engineers pioneers push into, combat engineers, sorry. Putting into the center for the cap, and the infantry is just flooding through the north. The pack gun turns around and is going to have to get the hell out of there. This is going to allow the T-34s to move in because the pack gun is not set up, and they are now opening up on that MG-42. That MG-42 is taking quite a beating down to two men, forces the retreat. The coaxial guns on those tanks forces them to pack up and leave. The pack gun itself moves into the center, going to try to set up to shoot at those T-34s. Panzer Grenadiers now with Shreks upgraded. They are going to try and shoot that T-34. T-34 goes for the for the crush, and down to one man, forces the retreat. Can he make it out alive? However, there are a lot of PPSHs in the way, and down goes the Panzer Grenadier squad. Very nice move there by stevebud. Manages to get a lot of kills, a lot of damage on Obscura, so Obscura is going to be routed off the map and probably going to lose his AT gun out on the field, down to 2 men, has to pick it up again, and he's going to get killed before it gets clear, and there he goes. Pack gun potentially going to get recruited. We do have a Panzer IV on the field. The shock troops notice the Panzer IV and are going to run away. There are T-34s on the field, however, so that Panzer IV is definitely not the king. And Grenadiers are running to that AT gun to pick it up because he knows that there are 2 T-34s on the field. And there he goes, picks it up. This Grenadier squad's going to need to retreat or get to the half-track. Is the half-track still alive? Yeah, it is. A little bit back here. Grenadier will just simply backpedal a little bit and walk its way there. So, thankfully for Obscura, he got himself that Panzer IV, so that means he's not going to be pushed off the map completely, but the center is currently in the possession of stevebud. Stevebud just sitting comfortably with his units in the center. AT gun also there as well, so that Panzer IV is not going to be king of anything. He's going to take a shot right now. No, hits the church. Very lucky shot there. Or, well, very lucky miss there for the Panzer IV. AT gun just nails the church itself. Conscripts push forward. Panzer IV notices them, takes a shot, misses, and the AT gun is still there. Always remember, I'm not sure if he's going to use it, you can always attack ground and try to hit behind the building. It does work, and that Panzer IV would potentially take some shots. However, Obscura does move it out of the way, so he would be missing if he attacks ground right now. MG42 pushing out onto the field. Going to set up here in this angle. Very nice coverage. Very nice coverage, in fact. Conscripts moving down to the southern fuel. Sorry, never mind. This is not a fuel point anymore. Just a strategic point. The fuel is next to each base. And we hear some shots landing someplace. It looks like it's a mortar just shooting randomly. AT gun is forced to pack up and move. Rain. Moving a different angle, but still setting up in the center. So stevebud right now sitting comfortably in the center, getting himself 2 points. So he's bleeding Obscura. Victory point wise, we are 491 for Obscura and 385 for stevebud. And the Maxim machine gun is already set up there for defense. Grenadier is going to push up, get themselves suppressed, and that T-34 is quite fine. Panzer IV moves up down the road, going to try to take some shots at that T-34, but no, there's too much things there, plus the AT gun, so the Panzer IV just backs off a little bit. MG42 does manage to catch a conscript squad out in the open, but it manages to crawl out of its range and is right next to it, giving it a little bit of a flank. The half-track moves up and is going to try to support the MG42. The MG42 is going to take a lot of damage. The flamethrower goes off on the half-track, burning alive the conscripts and the shock troops at the same time. However, not enough damage goes down, and the MG42 is forced to pack up and move out of the way. T-34s push a little bit into the center, forcing that Panzer IV to back off a little bit. T-34 may be in there for a little bit of a flank. Yeah, that church is the only thing keeping it alive. A third T-34 now on the field for stevebud, so he's going to go for the rush. There they come, and the Panzer IV is in a little bit of trouble now. He notices that there's a T-34 next to it, takes a shot, nice shot on the side armor. Pack gun also set up to approach it, and brings it down to about half health. The Panzer IV and the pack gun shoot as well, down to about 25% on that T-34, but it does gain veterancy 1 due to simply taking damage. And the T-34s in the center are pretty much unopposed here. There's only 1 pack gun on the field. However, we do see a Stug getting produced for Obscura. He wants to get himself another mobile tank fighter. And the Stug is actually quite a nice choice. I mean, the Panzer IV is a good all-around tank, but the Stug is a little bit more designed as an anti-armor weapon. It has more range than the Panzer IV, so it works a little bit better there. Obviously, it does not have the turret, so it's very easily counterable if it's not positioned well or controlled well per se. But yeah, I actually like that choice with Obscura. I don't see a reason why to just get Panzer IVs. You can get more Stugs because you're going to be utilizing less fuel. I mean, the difference is decent enough. You have 115 fuel requirement for a Panzer IV, and you have a 95 fuel requirement for a Stug. So that's 20 fuel right there that you are saving by doing that, and you are getting a very strong weapon anyway, so yeah. It's fine. Okay, so down south we see the combat engineers going for the decap on the fuel point. The half-track is used to push it away, and it ran right next to the demolition charge. I'm not sure why stevebud didn't detonate it. Maybe it doesn't actually kill the half-track? I'm pretty sure it does, though. Well, I'm not pretty sure. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe that's why. I don't know. So anyways, Pack Gun is set up over here on the left-hand side on its own. We see some conscripts pushing forward and going to run straight into that Pack Gun. That Pack Gun is in a lot of trouble. Panzer IV is there getting support. Going to take some shots at the conscripts as they approach. Center map, the Stug is set up there to cover the entire approach in the center. T-34s are backing off right now, and you have some Grenadiers pushing into the center for the victory point. They do get decapped, but the Pack Gun manages to get itself out of there. Very low in health, but very alive. Half-track and Panzer IV, both with a damaged engine. Right now, a little bit exposed to the rushing of the T-34s. However, the T-34s are quite damaged themselves, so they need to get some repairs off before they can hope to do anything. A very nice, very weird. What the hell is that? It's a very weird looking halo from the soldering there. It's magical powers. It has a holy shield there. Anyways. So yeah, the Stug moves forward, and look at that damage go down on that T-34. That T-34 now has a damaged engine, and the Stug decides to retarget on the shock troops that are approaching. A little bit unfortunate there for Obscura. Could have potentially picked up a kill on the T-34, but they're all pretty much disabled right now. A nice nade landing on the MG-42 nails the Grenadiers with splash damage down to one man. Mortar, however, is now up to Veteran C2 with 7 kills. It still has that one friendly sniper kill to its name, which is unfortunate. Pretty sure Obscura could have done a different job here if he had that sniper, but unfortunately that is not the case. Still, however, he is floating 1,000 manpower, which I am not entirely sure why he is doing that. And I apologize for breaking the overlay, but I think it doesn't really matter that much. I forgot that when you switch the view that I did a while ago, it removes the commander choices when one player has selected one. That is unfortunately the state of the current replay system, but whatever. Doesn't really change much. Once it appears, it will appear completely. Okay, so yeah, I hadn't actually noticed that until now. I wasn't paying attention, but yeah, I mean, Obscura is floating 1,000 manpower. I don't know what he's waiting for. He doesn't have a Doctrine, so he's not waiting to call in anything, unless he's just waiting on that and hasn't selected the Doctrine because he already knows of that. But I mean, he could very easily replace the sniper at this point, even get a second one if he wanted to, or something else. Panzer Grenadiers are also an option to be replaced if he wanted to. He has the manpower for it, but he's choosing not to. Not entirely sure. Let's see what Doctrine he chooses. I mean, he does have a couple options to choose from, and it's Elite Troops Doctrine, Fortified Armor, and Mechanized Assault. So we'll see what he ends up getting. So, engagement in the center goes pretty well for Obscura. Manages to push back the Soviet forces. Panzer IV and Stug are in pretty good shape. Panzer Grenadier Squad now getting produced. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Panzer Grenadier Squad could have been produced a long time ago with all that manpower. But, well, he's getting one now, so I suppose that's okay. Obscura, I mean, stevebud does have a lot of things on the field, however. Look at that. I mean, he has 3 tanks still. He has suffered losses as far as engagements. He has been forced to back off. But he still has 2 shock troops, 2 conscripts, 2 combat engineers to repair his stuff, and 2 AT guns on the field. So, I mean, he's doing pretty well. I mean, he just doesn't have the position right now in the map that he would probably want. Which is unfortunate, but, I mean, it's fine. It doesn't really matter much. Panzer IV, center pushing forward, Grenadiers capturing the victory points, so very nice. So Obscura manages to stop the bleed at 401 points, and it's going to start ticking back in his favor against stevebud. Stevebud is still down to 383, 382 now. So it's still anybody's game. It's a 20-point difference right now, so really anybody's game. Maxim machine gun opening up in the Grenadiers as they push forward. AT gun turns around to shoot them as well. Conscripts flooding over into the center, going to try to push out the forces. However, pretty sure we have an MG-42. Yeah, it's covering the entire approach, so these conscripts are not going to be able to push into the center. Grenadiers manage to crawl out of the way. A nice rifle nade goes down on the Maxim machine gun. Only nails 2 of the members and some splash damage. Conscripts push forward. MG-42 opens up on the bulk of them as they approach. Gonna get a suppression very easily here. And yeah, there goes suppression on both of them. The Maxim machine gun turns its sights on something. It looks like it was maybe the mortar. Grenadiers are forced to retreat. However, there were a lot of machine guns, a lot of SMGs on top of them, and the conscripts are retreating. They are in a very weird position here because they might get all killed in one nice shot, but only one of them gets shot. The half-track takes a shot from the AT gun and forces to back it off. Mortar on the field. We also have a mortar on the field for stevebud, and that would be the 120mm mortar. It's back here. And that is hitting like a truck where it hits, but not doing a lot just yet. Grenadiers in the center gonna get killed off if they don't retreat right now. And the Panzer IV has gotten veterancy. That means Blitzkrieg, it manages to get itself out of there a little bit. Does hit Blitzkrieg, is getting assaulted by 2 T-34s. The Stug moves into support. Pack Gun's also in sight. Shots flying into both tanks, hitting them as well. And they are forced to back off. The Panzer IV using its speed to move out of the way. And a little bit of a flanking and defensive position. Panzer Grenadiers now with a Shrek's gonna take a lot of damage. And we see a, what is it? The Sturmovik. Yeah. Sturmovik strafing run hitting nothing. Hits the Stug a little bit, doing some damage. However, that Stug will take severe damage if it doesn't get out of the way. So this engagement is going to go in stevebud's direction. He's going to be able to force all the units out of the field. These Panzer Grenadiers will get killed off if they don't get out of the field right now, as well as the MG42. However, oh my god, did the plane crash? I think the plane might have crashed. I don't see any wreckage burning all over the... Oh, there it is. Yeah, plane crashed. Very nice. So that is probably due to the machine gunners on top of these guys. These machine gunners on the hulls of the tanks help out against infantry, but it's also against aircraft, as you can see right there. Additional defense against infantry and aircraft. And we have 2 of them. We have one on this guy and one on this guy. So yeah. So the combined effort of that actually took down that Sturmovik. So only one strafing run went down. So very nice there for Obscura. Managing to catch a break, so that Sturmovik is not going to be OP anymore. Stug moves forward and annihilates one of the AT guns that got decrewed in that engagement. So stevebud is now down to 1. Panzer Grenadiers moving away. But Obscura is still sitting at a lot of manpower. Does decide to get himself a Doctrine finally, and that is actually the Fortified Armor Doctrine. So that'll give him command tank and an elephant. So yeah, I guess he could save up his fuel and get an elephant. Oh, that would be awesome. We haven't seen an elephant in ages, so I hope he does. He does have the manpower right now, although he is 100 fuel away, so probably use your manpower in something else for a little while and then spend it there. Okay, so he actually decides to get himself a command tank. Not a bad choice. Command tank, as you see there, provides a defensive buff to any units in the sector that it stands. So yeah, it's going to help out quite a bit. Probably not going to see an elephant, however. Nice rifle, nice grenade there from the shocks, thrown through the hedge and lands on that mortar, brings it down to 2 men, forces the retreat. It is a veteran C3 mortar, however, so it is a very critical target. It needs to get the hell out of here, and it does. Stug moves to face the shock troops as they approach, takes a nice shot and actually nails one of them, and the command tank is now on the field, will provide some defensive buffs. And that little short stubby gun is a little bit better than the Panzer IV's gun against infantry, so it should help out. The Stug and the Panzer IV pushing forward, leading the assault right now. We have 4 T-34s on the field. There are 2 right now in front of the advancing forces of Obscura. We have 2 more on the north, so it looks like stevebud is actually going to be going in for a flank. How is this going to go out? Panzer IV's in the center, just taking some shots. The conscript's taking some damage to these tanks. And the T-34s are set up there for the flank, but can they actually do anything? Panzer IV now up to 2 kills. So like I said, it's a little bit better. Not the best, but a little bit better. The Panzer IV over here already has 14 kills, but it's been a while. So the combat engineers, well, don't necessarily throw a wrench in the plan, but reveal the plan here for stevebud. They notice that there are 2 T-34s on this side of the map. And, well, there are T-34s on the center of the map, so the flank is not going to be a surprise. Pioneers, however, are getting beaten on by combat engineers. They need to retreat. They do retreat. And can they make it out alive? The Panzer IV makes sure that that is in fact the case. So they will make it out of there quite alive. T-34s rushing into the center. Let's see what they actually get. They just push, they prod, they stop, and they're going to back off. Okay. So they don't manage to catch anything out of position right now, so they're just going to back off and get themselves out of there. This T-34 going the wrong route. And it's just set up around there. The AT gun spins around completely and sits up in the right angle right there. And the conscripts are moving in for the victory point. So all the tanks are up in the north. And the Soviet forces utilize this distraction to prod it to the center and try to recapture. Right now we see that Obscura has not captured this fuel point in a long time, which is, well, bad, but at the same time kind of good, because he hasn't actually suffered any losses by triggering this demolition charge. But yeah, he hasn't gotten that resource income in a long while. So the command tank pushes forward, gonna be able to provide some defensive buffs to things around here, but No, wait, where's the command tank? Command tank is back here. Oh, never mind. Would help out. Panzer Grenadiers push forward, throwing off a nice barrage there at that T-34, down to about half health. Conscripts in the center trying to push it off, but there is an MG-42 there for support. AT gun, Panzer IV, flamethrower, half-track, all rushing forward. Now getting the defensive buff of that Panzer IV, but they are now out of its range once again. AT gun taking some shots at whatever it can as they approach. The T-34 goes in for the ram, manages to get a nice crit on that Panzer IV. The Panzer IV no longer has a weapon, but the half-track does have its weapons and it's turning it against that AT gun. Another ram goes off into the center and hits the command tank. The command tank does suffer a weapon loss as well. So nice crits all around there for stevebud. The other two T-34s are coming in for the flank on the side. The Stug is in fact the one that gets rammed by the other T-34, and the last remaining tank in the field manages to execute that Stug. Shreks going off in every direction here. We see pack guns, Shreks, and another Sturmovik attack into the center. Sturmovik attack manages to do something. No, the half-track is moving out of the way. The T-34 is going to get its sights and going to be taken out. I mean, the T-34 going to take out that half-track. The Panzer Shreks are pushing forward. Can they get a shot off? Down goes the T-34. Nice pickup there for Obscura. Manages to clear that out. The half-track is now aggressive against the shock troops, and the shock troops are forced off of the field. Oh, but unfortunately the Sturmovik comes in for the killing shot and annihilates the half-track anyways, which is unfortunate for Obscura. A nasty engagement there in the center. We lost all the T-34s. The Panzer IV is still alive. Both of them are, in fact. They are, however, disabled right now. This Panzer IV has an immobilized engine, so it's not going anywhere. Needs to get some Pioneers in there for support, but the Sturmovik is coming around for another pass. What is it actually going to shoot at? It shoots at a... What does it shoot at, actually? I didn't see what it shot at. Was it the house? Looks like it might have been the house here. I don't know. But the strafing run is done, so it moves out of the way. Pioneers are going to try to flood into the center and get in range to be able to repair. But we have conscripts flooding in with another T-34 on the field for support. So that command tank is done for. The Pioneers notice that and they know, okay, well, yeah, we can't really save that guy. We're going to try to save the Panzer IV. The Panzer IV is a little bit of a more important target in this situation. MG-42 going to get recaptured and try to use it against the approaching conscripts. Conscripts do manage to get the flank on it, however, so they're going to clear it out once again. MG-42 not even able to get picked up. Panzer Grenadiers, however, are going to try to provide some support to this Panzer IV, and the T-34 is just sitting there firing at the Panzer IV until it gets dead. And it just bounces off the armor, which is unfortunate. That command tank is actually taking the beating quite like a boss. The Panzer Shreks on those Grenadiers doing some damage to the T-34 by getting themselves wrecked by the infantry and the tank. I think one of them actually got crushed. They are retreating, taking some shots as they retreat. Panzer Grenadiers managed to stop these conscript squads from actually killing their retreating comrade. But that Panzer IV is in very bad shape, and down it goes. Second T-34 on the field now for stevebud. So Obscura in a very tough situation here. He has his Panzer IV getting repaired. It is at about 50% health right now. Pioneer squad is only at 3 men, so it's not even repairing at full speed. The T-34 pushes forward. Does it actually manage to catch that Panzer IV? The Panzer IV is just running away as fast as it can, which isn't fast. It's just, it's just moving. Gonna pop a smoke, trying to break a line of sight. It does break a line of sight for a second, but the T-34 moves up. Takes another shot to the rear armor, down to about 25% health. And a last shot takes it out of control. And down it goes. Gonna provide some heavy cover here on the approach for Obscura, but that is as much as it's gonna do nowadays, which is unfortunate. So the T-34s are now rushing straight into the base, taking some shots from those Shreks. Those Shreks are gonna get crushed. They do decide to retreat, so the crush is not gonna work, and everything is flooding out once again for Obscura. He did manage to capture this fuel point eventually, and has a sneaky Pioneer squad over here on the right-hand side. There is another demo charge here at this point. Not sure why stevebud is not using those demo charges to his advantage, but, well, he has been laying them down for quite a bit. So, Stug is going to get produced for Obscura. He wants to have something on the field because there are 2 T-34s on the field that he has to deal with. Fuel-wise, however, stevebud is sitting in a gold mine of it. He has 280 fuel already, so he can make as many T-34s as you want. The manpower really is the most restrictive situation here. Another Maxim machine gun getting produced for stevebud. There is a Maxim machine gun on the field right here that hasn't gotten picked up, so he could have actually just picked that up instead of producing another one. Why he decided to produce one instead, I don't know, but well, to each his own, I suppose. Pack gun getting recruited by Obscura, gonna move it out of the way, get everything as much as he can back onto his hands without having to reproduce him. There's an MG42. There is also another demolition charge laid into the center there by stevebud, which I applaud. I mean, I like that he's using that many demo charges. We don't see them used that often, and it's a very nice and sneaky thing to do, but he hasn't detonated a single one of them. So far up until this point, they haven't actually been worth it. So Payo's pushing forward, gonna try to capture that MG42. They managed to capture it, and the MG42 is gonna retreat. No, it decides to just simply set up there, which is unfortunate. Panzer Grenadiers engaging conscript squads. Conscripts are veteran C3, so they're doing quite a bit of damage. There is a veteran C3 squad, however, on the Panzer Shreks, and veteran C2 on the other squad, so that means they're actually pretty good anyways. LMG Vet 3 Grens opening up on the conscripts as they retreat. Down to 2 men, they will make it out alive, however. Combat engineers repairing the T-34s up in the north, one at full strength, the other one at about 80% right now. Stug on the field, so that'll give Obscura something to fight with. In victory points, we are now spread by 100 points. That is 376 for Obscura and 273 for stevebud. So Obscura managing to do quite a bit of damage there in the victory point count, but he is now getting bled himself, so that 100 point difference is going to start shrinking. Well, not very fast, because he still has 1 point, but it'll happen. Shock troops moving down south to capture again that fuel point, so he's doing this constantly to try to get that demo charge to come into play. And we see that in the center, the demolition charge was either used. I think it was used against the Grenadier squad, maybe. I missed it, damn it. So I was talking about the demolition charges, and then I missed the demolition charge. Oh well. Either that or got detonated by something, but it probably got used. Grenadiers left-hand side, engaging combat engineers. The combat engineers are forced to retreat down to 2 men. They do manage to get a decap, cutting off that munitions, and we now finally have a combat engineer squad over here with a minesweeper going to the far left or northern victory point, and finally put that triple cap on Obscura. Panzer Grenadiers push forward. They are veteran C3. Veteran C3 gives them weapon accuracy, so those Shreks are quite potent with a veteran C3 squad because they also have a cooldown reduction, so that means they shoot faster with those Shreks, so very nice to have that on that. LMG Grens going over to the left-hand side, gonna chase away those combat engineers. They're gonna open up with their LMG, doing quite a bit of damage. They are a little bit out of range, however, so they need to hop that fence to get in range. Center map, we have some pioneers going for the point. They managed to get the decap on that point, stopping the bleeding. Actually, no, it's just slowing down the bleed to 1 point first. And Mortar just taking some shots, nailing the carcass of a Maxim machine gun. And there we go, more shots landing and potentially hitting the actual Maxim machine gun. Nope, still hitting right next to it. Not even moving, come on, you can do it. There we go, nice shot, and actually nails 2 of the men in that squad. And probably gonna force it to pack up. Ooh, another nice shot there, kills 1 more, down to 3 men. stevebud needs to move that out of the way, and he does. And moves it right into the range of MG42. So the so the Maxim machine gun is forced to retreat. 120mm mortar for the Soviets pushes up and is going to probably target that MG42. The MG42, however, now the target of the shock troops, forces the retreat, and the mortar is forced to pack up as well. 27 kills now to the name of that mortar, with still 1 friendly sniper kill, which is quite unfortunate. And we now have a Flak Panzer on the field for Obscura. That is a very interesting choice. It's okay. Oh, another thermobic attack right on top of everything. Where is that plane going to come at? It's coming straight at. The Flak Panzer is right there. Can he shoot down the plane? It's focusing on the infantry. Takes a nasty barrage straight at it, but the Panzer Grenadier squad goes down. Down goes that veteran C3. That's thermobic. Wow, that is so powerful. One of the Shreks does get dropped, however, so the other Panzer Grenadier squad could pick it up and, you know, continue with the torch. The Flak Panzer focusing right now on the T-34s. It's actually able to do a decent amount of damage to T-34 armor, but it isn't able to take damage. This thermobic attack coming around for another pass does do a lot of damage to the hull of that Stug, bringing it down to about half health. That Flak Panzer needs to take down that plane. It is going to come in for one last pass eventually. The Stug stops in the center. The Flak Panzer turning around, shooting at the plane. Can it actually bring it down? That thermobic is just strafing all over around. Goes off the map for another pass, and here it comes. What is it going to nail? And he is going to target that. Oh my god, the Flak Panzer itself gets taken out by this Thermovic. So the anti-air gun gets taken out by air. That is quite sad. Okay, so the Panzer Grenadiers are over here. These Panzer Grenadiers have 2 Shreks. Can I actually pick up a 3rd one? No, they can't. So this needs to be picked up by somebody else. Can the Grenadiers pick it up? Yeah, they have an LNG and they're veteran C3, so these guys could actually do with one. Where are they? However, they are over here on the northern side, so that Shrek is still there. Panzer Grenadier Squad getting produced, so that probably she's going to pick it up instead and be the one to carry it. Mortar on the field, just opening up on whatever it can. Nails those conscripts. Very nice shot there. They're actually building a sandbag, so stevebud trying to go for the pin right now, trying to just hold everything he can. Conscripts do notice that there was a Shrek there, but they are forced to retreat because they took a nasty shot by that mortar down to 2 men. Grenadiers on the retreat, taking some damage by the T-34s. 3 T-34s lined up right in front of the base. The right-hand side approach is not actually covered by anybody, so Obscura could basically move in this side. We see the demo charge over here getting blown again, so something did die there, but again, I missed it because, well, that's usually what I do. And yeah, so that allows Obscura to start pushing to the right-hand side and recapture points. Seeing that the demolition charge was blown up, he gets demolition charge or demo kit himself, the hazard removal package, on one of his piles, and is going to move around and try to spot any demolition charges. So that's excellent. That's very nice. Stug still on the field, does get repaired to full strength, so those T-34s can't just simply run in willy-nilly. Panzer Grenadiers pushing forward. Are they going to pick up that Shrek? It looks like they are. Yeah, so those Panzer Grenadiers now have themselves a Shrek, which means they... Well, actually, they can still do that, and it only costs 60, so it looks like they're only going to be getting 1. Yeah, oh, that's very interesting. I didn't know that happened. Wow, that's very nice. So yeah, if you actually have 1 Shrek and you're missing just 1, you can buy another one for 60 for half the cost. So that's very nice. Very, very thoughtful of them to actually include that. MG-42 stopping those shock troops as they approach. The Panzer Grenadiers taking quite a beating. Soviet mortar, yeah, that was what was that? That wasn't demolition charge. No, that the Soviet mortar 120mm shooting at the MG-42 kills quite a bit, but it does force the shock troops to retreat and allows the Pios to just move along and capture points. In front of the field, we see Panzer Grenadiers trying to capture the point, and they are taking quite a beating, but by all that armor, and even the combat engineers seem intimidating in that situation. Stug just set up there for support, taking some shots at range, trying to nail what it can, but not doing much. Pack gun as well there for support, just taking some shots, but getting shot in return by both the AT gun and the Soviet mortar. The Soviet mortar now has incredible range into the base and is going to be able to siege Obscura's base without really any repercussions. Pack gun moves back, gets in range for reinforcements, and sets up. Very nice position for it to be in because that's going to allow it to repair. He is also going to get some repairs going on the gun itself so that it doesn't blow up. Very nice decision there by Obscura because he needs to keep the gun alive if he doesn't want to get just rushed by tanks. Pios moving on the right-hand side, getting on top of everything. They're going to go for the victory point, and hopefully Obscura notices that there is a demo charge right there and cleans it up. Do they actually clean it up automatically if they stop on top of it, or does it have to be an order? Stug pushes forward. We're going to start shooting at those T-34s. T-34s take a nasty shot there, actually. Nice Shreks go off. And that T-34 goes down. Very nice pickup there by Obscura. Still has 3 T-34s to deal with and an AT gun, but a very nice push there. Manages to sneak a kill on one of these. So the troops are right there on top of the demo charge, and they're just going to get themselves blown up. Doesn't look like they can clear it up unless you tell them to. So the Panzer Grenadiers push forward, manage to get themselves a kill on that AT gun. That AT gun is going to get destroyed. Very nice decision there by Obscura. He didn't really have anything to pick it up with and get it out of the field, so he's just going to remove it from the game. Pack gun forced to pack up and get out of the way because they are now getting assaulted by conscripts. And the Panzer Grenadiers are trying to hold their own against a conscript squad, but it is a veteran C3 conscript squad, so it does a lot of damage. This is the 2 Shrek squad, so it's not going to do a lot of infantry damage, but it does manage to push away that conscript squad. And the T-34s are now pushing forward. Another Sturmovik attack right on top of everything. Nails the Stug. Okay, actually, well, yeah, it actually nails the Stug, but it nails a Pio squad that was next to it with a flamethrower, and the flamethrower ignites. So, unfortunately, the whole gunner over here not able to shoot down this plane. Center map, we have some Pyos retreating. The demolition charge over here did get cleared out, so nice pickup there for Obscura. And the Thermovic comes in for another run and hits what? Hits something around over here. I'm not sure what it was. Pack gun getting the crude for Obscura in the front of his base, which is unfortunate. And that Thermovic is probably going to target something in the base. What is it going to target? Circling around. There it goes. Going to fly off the map. And it's going to come around for another pass over here. And what is it targeting this time? The Stug once again. Taking quite a beating on that Stug. Stug now down to about 25% health. But that Thermovic is out of the field, so those Pyos can now start repairing very quickly. Pyos, however, are now down to only one Pyos squad, which means those repairs are going to take a little bit. But since it's not dead, that still keeps Obscura in the game. Victory points, 185 for Obscura, 252 for stevebud. So Obscura is actually in a little bit of trouble. He is triple cap right now, and he is running out of time. Fuel-wise, again, stevebud is sitting on as much fuel as he wants. He also has a lot of munitions, so that Thermovic attack is going to be coming down very frequently. And I'm assuming then that's probably why Obscura got himself the Flak Panzer to try to combat the Thermovic, but ironically the Thermovic is the one that ended up killing the the Flak gun itself. So southern side, we see shock troops moving down again. It's just going to go decap the points, reducing the income once again for Obscura. And he is getting himself another flak gun. So yeah, I think that's why he's doing it. I don't see any other reason to do that. Soviet mortars just being told to barrage into the center of the German base. See if it can nail anything accidentally. It's hitting the med bunker, which it could potentially take down, and that would be very annoying for Obscura because he would lose his healing capabilities. The Grenadiers decide to retreat out of the way of the barrage. They don't want to get themselves killed. They do get reinforced and are going to push out. And the Stug pushes forward and is going to run straight into a concert squad. Shock troops over here on the southern side, going to capture that point. We see a mortar. Okay, so the German mortar did get cleared out. Going to get picked up by the Pioneers. I think the Thermovic is the one that took it out there. Because I didn't see what it was shooting at, but it's because it was already dead. Soviet mortar opening up on... No, it's actually still opening up into the center of the base. Not sure why it's doing that. Is the bunker still alive? Yeah, that bunker's still alive. At about half health, it's still alive. So Grenadiers push forward, force away that mortar, and the Maxim machine gun is going to suppress them. They are veteran C3. The Stug pushes forward, going to take shots at the gun itself. Panzer Grenadiers in the north are forced to retreat. And the T-34s are just sitting there, quite happy. Black Panzer now on the field, and it moves over to the right-hand side. Forces away the shock troops, and we see some black shot right here. I'm not sure exactly what that was, but that's very weird. Another Thermovic getting called in right into the center. Aims at the Panzer Grenadiers up in the north, forces them to retreat. Gonna fly around and circle the area. Black Panzer nearby, taking some shots at the Thermovic as it passes. No, it's actually taking shots at the infantry. The Thermovic is now getting shot by that Black Panzer. Can it go down? Something went down. T-34 went down. Very nice pickup there. Black Panzer focusing on the... Thermovic focusing on the Black Panzer. The Black Panzer shoots the Thermovic again, but doesn't actually do anything. So that Black Panzer is surprisingly ineffective against a airplane. I guess you have to have two of them. There we go. Down goes the plane and crashes right into the middle of the battlefield. A small respite there for Obscura. Stug now finally getting itself better in C2. Now has those sexy armored skirts next to it, meaning it's going to take more punishment. And hopefully this will help Obscura push back into the map. He does manage to break the siege, or the pin in his base, killing two T-34s. Still has three to deal with. They are all three back up in the north. So stevebud is just probably setting himself up for another big push to break the back of his enemy. But Obscura uses this opportunity to push back into the center, get some pack guns out there, get some Grens, go for the victory points, try to slow down that bleed, down to 24 points for Obscura, so he definitely needs to go for the victory points first. He does send something to the north, decaps that point, that's an MG42, so he's going to stop the bleed, well, the bleeding to 2 ticks. Goes over with a sneaky Pyro squad over on the right-hand side, stops that one, bleeding down to 1 point, down to 19 points himself, and there we go, stop the bleed altogether. Grenadiers fighting out against the shock troops in the center, the LMG doing what it can, but forced away by the shock troops. Shock troops going to be able to recap that, but there is a Flak Panzer right on top of them. The Flak Panzer can do quite a bit of damage. The Stug is now getting assaulted by 3 T-34s at the same time. Pack gun, however, is there to protect it, so it takes some nasty shots. T-34 taking some barrages by those Shreks, and the Shreks are in hot pursuit. They decide to stop and are not going to engage against the the shock troops. The shock troops are throwing a smoke nade, so they break the line of sight to the Flak Panzer. The Flak Panzer is forced to go right on top of them and shoots them as they retreat down to 3 men, but they'll make it out alive, and they do capture the center point. Northern point does get captured by the MG42 and is now opening up on the combat engineers as they retreat. Can he pick it up? Down goes one of the combat engineers. Small pickup there for Obscura, but he still has a long way to go. The right-hand side did get pushed away by the conscripts, and the Pyos did make it out alive, so they're fine, but they do capture that point. Center point once again getting decapped by Obscura, so he is still sitting at 19 points. 241 still left for stevebud, so he has quite a bit of time to regain control and just bleed down those few remaining 19 points. T-34s move into the center. They are damaged, so they're going to need some repairs, and there's no combat engineers here. He has 1 combat engineer squad, which is currently back at base getting healed up, so it's going to take a while, and the T-34 that is most damaged is sitting back at base. So a nice decision there by stevebud, moves in his most functional tanks just to be able to hold the line. Oh, nasty shots there by the T-34, and the conscript combination cleans out another Panzer Grenadier squad with Shreks. It looks like, however, it was the squad that only had 1 Shrek. No, it looks like that was the squad that actually had 2, so 2 Shreks go down. Quite unfortunate. Flak Panzer taking an 18-8 to the face. T-34 moves in, takes some shots at the Flak Panzer, but with more pack guns and the Stug there for support, that T-34 is taking quite a beating. Caught in a bad position, takes a nasty shot, gets a, what is that? A damaged engine. The pack gun pushes forward, keeps shooting. His Stug is on the hunt, and that T-34 is a gunner. Ram goes up to the Stug. The Stug gets a damaged engine and destroyed weapon. T-34, however, does go down, and the pack gun is going to move forward and annihilate the remaining T-34 on the field. Other T-34 still getting repaired up north. The shock troops push forward. That Stug needs to get the hell out of there and stay alive. That is the only thing that is keeping Obscura in this game, because he has not a lot. Another strafing run is coming down. What is it going to target? It targets the pack gun. The pack gun getting annihilated by this thermal big run, and an 8 by the shock troops, and down it goes. Does not manage to get the kill on the remaining T-34 there, and the T-34 up in the north is at about half health. Gonna try to go for the kill on that Stug. That Stug is slowly retreating out of the way. The Flak Panzer is in its way, stopping it, going with those shock troops. The shock troops might actually get killed off. T-34 gonna focus on the Flak Panzer. As it shoots it, the Flak Panzer decides to back off, taking some shots back at that T-34, but the Sturmovik comes around for another pass and annihilates another Flak Panzer once again, because, you know, anti-air guns don't actually kill air. So. Oh, a nasty shot there by the T-34. Annihilates that squad as well. That is the only Grenadier squad that was left, it looks like. Although there's a retreating one at some point. No? No, I think that one's gone, yeah. So yeah, that Gren squad is gone. Actually ends up dropping an LMG. Combat engineers might be able to pick it up. Pack gun does get recruit, and the Panzer Grenadiers are pushing into the center. The Sturmovik, however, is going to come around for another pass. No, it's actually leaving the map now. Did manage to clear off the, yeah, I think the last barrage went off on that Stug. That Stug is very low in health. Who knows, actually. But anyways, the combat engineers do get annihilated in the center by those Panzer Grenadiers. The Panzer Grenadiers going to pick up an LMG, giving themselves a little bit of a boost there in firepower. Not going to be enough. A nasty shot there by the mortar. Clears it out, and they actually drop their Shreks. No? Actually, no, they don't. Oh, very nice. Well, the Shrek was dropped at the last second. He picks it up, but then gets killed, so the Shreks just die to the battlefield, and nobody keeps them. Which is unfortunate for everybody, but at least more fortunate for Obscura, because at that point, those conscripts could have picked it up. That Stug is still alive, still crawling out of the battlefield very slowly. Center point, the Panzer Grenadiers are trying as much as they can to hold this line. They are down to 2 men themselves against a 3-man veteran C3 conscript squad. It forces a retreat on a 3-man conscript squad, but now surrounded by infantry, is forced to retreat and gets annihilated again by that T-34 as it retreats. So not much left now on the field for Obscura. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything anymore. MG42 still covering the north. It is a nice decision by Obscura because that's going to defend it against all the approaching small guys like the combat engineers. But yeah, he lost all his combat infantry right now, and I don't think there's going to be much else he can do about it. Flak Panzer getting produced for Obscura. He's trying to kill the infantry as much as he can. Pyos running to the center, going to try to go for the cap, but they're just getting killed. And that Stug is still combat ineffective. Going to go for another ram. Takes out the Stug completely. Gets itself immobilized, but I think that's all she wrote. I think Obscura is going to lose this one. Yeah. T-34 is just sitting there taking some shots by the Pyos. The Pyos are going to run into the center. They're going to run into some conscripts and some shock troops. They're going to riddle them, destroy them, but that is pretty much all that Obscura can do. He does not have the luxury of time anymore. Down to 8 points, gets killed off on one of the squads, and decides to call it quits. Can't say I blame him at that point. He was, well, out of options. Let's get away from that sound. So, wow, that was a pretty good game. A bit unfortunate there for Obscura early on, losing that sniper. That was very painful to look at. But yeah, very nicely played by both. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I hope that you did too. So anyways, guys, if you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.